So with the Summer Games Fest event starting tomorrow and Capcom having their own showcase during the event, I wanted to kind of talk about what to expect from them in terms of what they will announce and what they may show, because there is some kind of set rules this year of what is actually being shown from certain studios. So while there's not anything really brand new, there's going to be updates on some previously announced things, as well as maybe some extras as well. So we're going to jump into the main Resident Evil announcements you should expect from the weekend, and then maybe some unexpected possibility announcements during the week. So without any further ado, let's just jump into it from most likely to least likely. So first up, we've got the Resident Evil Village DLC. This has been pretty much on the cards for a long time now. It's just something to keep in mind with the Summer Games Fest and how it's laid out this year is they're only doing kind of news and updates on already announced games. So a new Resident Evil game being announced at Summer Games Fest is unlikely, especially considering they've already revealed Resident Evil 4. So seeing another game be revealed is unlikely, but having the update finally released about the DLC for Village is probably quite likely. There was a leak a couple of weeks ago now, or a few days ago now, that suggested the title. Seemed very fake to me, but I'm kind of on the idea that the Village DLC will be set pre-game or during the game. It won't be anything post-game, it'll be all pre-game or during the events of the game, and hopefully we'll have an idea of what that's going to be and when it's coming out from the end of next week, because that's how long the event lasts. It's usually a week, so hopefully by that point we do know what we're kind of expecting in terms of a release date. On the topic of Resident Evil Village, we have Reverse as well. Now Reverse is still kind of a dark spot for anything about the game at all. It did get delayed basically indefinitely in July after Village's release, which is almost a year ago. And there's been kind of bits and pieces every now and again saying the game's still on the cards and that it's been rated on different platforms. I believe it got a rating on Google Stadia and Mac as well. And with that Mac announcement, I'm thinking about it now, they actually did announce that Village was coming to Mac a couple of days ago. So it might just be that Village is releasing there and it's bundled with Village, so it's naturally there as well. But it's an interesting one. Very mixed reception on the game in general. I think there's a lot of people that kind of aren't interested. There is a good amount of people that are interested, and I, again, played the beta a little bit at least, and it was a fun game. It's not something I take too seriously. It's more of a joke, mess around game with Resident Evil characters in it, and you know, that's the main thing at the end of the day. But hopefully there's some information about that as well as the Village DLC. I'd be willing to bet that whenever the Village DLC gets announced, Reverse will come alongside it. I think that makes the most sense. But hopefully we'll hear something soon, because yeah, it's been a long time, and obviously that game was promised with Village as a bundle, so having it not released at this point is not ideal. So hopefully we get some news about that soon. Next up is the next gen versions of Resident Evil 2, 3 and 7. This one was a fairly new announcement, I believe a couple of months ago. Essentially it's a visual overhaul of the Resident Evil 2 remake, 3 remake and 7. An FPS increase, some extra shadowing, ray tracing, all that kind of stuff, as well as probably some quality of life stuff. No new content is being added to the games, so I know when this game the updates got announced that the Resident Evil 3 remake fans were kind of assuming it would be the Nemesis edition, which doesn't actually exist. Hate to break it to you, but it's just not a thing. But yeah, next gen versions of those games I will definitely take. It gives me another reason to play 2 and 3 again, as well as 7, and I'm hoping with 7 they add a skip cutscene button, because every time I go to 7 I always forget you can't skip anything, and it really bugs me at times. But on the topic of that, this was a couple of days ago in relation to those updates, is that apparently they're all on Sony's files now and waiting to be released, so it could be as early as next week. They could announce the next gen version updates information next week, and then have it released in that same week, which would be pretty cool. And I'd definitely be jumping back into those games again with, you know, a bit more of a performance increase and a visual increase. It would be really cool to see. Now the last 2 points are a little more recent, as in the past week. But first we've got Resident Evil Village VR. There could be some kind of gameplay demo of that to show what it will really be like. I doubt it, to be honest, because the VR2 is what it's in development for, and I think that's in its kind of, not early stages, but it's in its kind of hush stages at the moment. They're not really showing it openly, they're kind of just announcing certain games that are going to be on it. I think they announced Resident Evil Village was going to be on it through a trailer, and then they also said that Resident Evil 4 Remake would have content made for it. So there's 2 games straight out the bat, but maybe we'll see a gameplay demo of Village and how it looks, how it plays in VR too. That is something I didn't expect to happen, and I think I'd definitely play it again in VR if I manage to ever get a VR2 headset, because they are expensive. But that's very cool. I think a lot of people will enjoy that, especially off the back of the success of Resident Evil 4 VR on the, I don't actually remember the VR headset it's called, but it's in VR, so that would be pretty cool to see as well for Village, because the gameplay I've seen of Resident Evil 4 VR is just insane, and it looks so fun. And last but not least, probably a gameplay demo or a 10-minute kind of gameplay walkthrough of Resident Evil 4 Remake. Again, it was fairly recently announced, but they did state that it would be information and updates on already announced things, and that has been announced as of late, so it could be that. I don't see it being a thing because of how close it was to the start of the Summer Games Fest when it was announced, and technically it did fall under the Summer Games Fest time period, so it might not be a thing. But it would be cool to see a proper gameplay demo of the game. It's not really a massive spoiler, is it? Because we've kind of seen Resident Evil 4, we've all played it a million times over. But to just see what it looks like and how it plays in the new version would be pretty cool to see. And I think that's what a lot of people are hanging on for now, because there is some mixed opinions about 4 Remake, which is kind of surprising. I'll go over that in a different video, but it's interesting to see what people think about that game at the moment. I'll be honest. But that's basically it. I think that's all of the kind of currently announced games that Capcom have in terms of Resident Evil that could be at some Games Fest. Like I said, I think the more likely things you'll see are Village DLC, maybe a trailer and a release date, as well as Reverse, maybe a release date on that or an update on it at least. And then obviously the next gen versions, that's not really a big thing to push, and it sounds like it's basically ready to go. So that could be there as well. And then obviously you've got your Village VR and your Resident Evil 4 Remake. So there's plenty of things they could do. And let's not forget, it isn't just Resident Evil that Capcom make, so it could be literally anything else. It could be Pragmata, which we got announced last year, which is a new game. It could be Monster Hunter, what's it called, Monster Hunter Rise on Switch. It could be, you know, it could be Street Fighter 6, maybe some more stuff about that. You don't know, and whatever it is, you know, I'm sure someone will be happy. So, but I think it's about time we saw something from the Village DLC. Personally, it's been far too long since we've seen anything, except the fact that they announced it was being made. And I understand that it's not like it was never planned, so they had to basically do it from scratch. But you know, it's one of those things, I suppose. But that's going to do it. Let me know which one you want to see the most in the comments below, and hopefully we do get something we want. As always, whenever there is something posted or something revealed and released about Resident Evil in the future, I'll be posting about it as often as possible and as quickly as possible. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so you do not miss an announcement as and when it happens. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.